Today, I want to talk about something that might sound a little controversial coming from a psychologist, and that's the truth about talk therapy. Now, don't get me wrong, talking is powerful. It's the foundation of all my sessions, and it helps us name emotions, organize thoughts, and feel deeply understood. Sometimes just being listened to with empathy can begin to heal old wounds. But there is another side, and I think that we can talk honestly about that. So understanding why you feel the way you do doesn't automatically change how you feel. You can know your patterns, you can see them clearly, and still react the same way. And that's because a lot of what drives our emotions and behavior doesn't live in words. It lives in the body, in the nervous system, in muscle memory, and in the subconscious mind. So when therapy only happens through talking, we can end up looping in insight without real transformation. That's why I've become such a believer in mind-body techniques. Hypnosis, self-hypnosis, breathwork, grounding, and the kind of body-based tools that help the mind and the body actually sync up. When you combine insight and action, that's when change becomes lasting. So a simple example would be that even if you maybe did talk in your therapy session, would be a question to ask at the end, okay, what am I going to do? What action do I need to take? What do I want to see change when I leave the session today? Because if you felt like you've talked about something for years and still feel stuck, maybe it isn't because you haven't understood enough. Maybe it is because the change doesn't just lie in the words. It also lies in the action that you're going to take. And that's what we'll explore here every week. New ways to train the mind and calm the body so that you can live with more clarity, confidence, and peace. So let's do a little technique. If you find yourself stuck in an old pattern, let's try this next time. So the first key is the willingness to pause. It's easy to just continue in the old pattern, but are you willing to pause? And then there's a breath that we can take, and this breath is actually focusing more on the out breath than the in breath. So there will just be a normal in breath, and then really focusing and elongating the out breath. And then you can choose your response. So let's practice that together. You notice the reactivity. You pause. You breathe out. And you choose your response. Here is a positive statement that you can use. I pause, I breathe, and I choose my response. So if this resonates, you're welcome to join me again next week for a short teaching and a technique. Please subscribe, and just remember that your insight will open a door, but it's action that will take you through it.